Hey, good day, everybody. Still here, Daily Market Pulse for Thursday, February 27th, 2014. So stocks, they managed to gain ground. I thought it would be a little iffy, especially with Yellen speaking today. I thought maybe, just maybe, especially with the announcement she made, that stocks would drop, and they just did not. They went higher, and they just kind of grinded higher, and not bad. Lower volume, mind you, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So you see the Dow Jones climbing, making a new high compared to the last 2 days, holding steady. The 8's rising, the 50's starting to turn up as well. They haven't crossed yet, but the 20's rising as well. So everything's starting to strengthen. Stochastics not, came out of the overbought area, now coming back up. So target seems like 16.4 or higher right now. But 16.4, 16.420, somewhere in there. That looks strong. Support we're here at 16,200. We knew the Dow and the S&P both were struggling at that resistance level. Well, this one broke as well. This was a pretty critical spot, 1835. Managed to get through. It's not huge. It tried a couple days ago, right, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing. Today, finally, it finishes at the session high. 8 moving average is rising, 50 is rising, 20 is rising more steeply. Everything's good. Room now, top of the channel, 1900. Nice round number. We knew the Nasdaq didn't have a lot of room, but it managed to go right back again to the top, making a new high again. So Nasdaq chugging along. You never know where it's going to go from here, but it could break up, make an even steeper channel. But right now we're looking at the 1272 extension, 43.65 probably. TSX for our good old Canadian friends. We've got, remember the Shooting Star Bearish engulfing. So we thought for sure lower. Yesterday, doji essentially. And they popped it a little bit today, but it's still flagging, really. It's what it's doing is consolidating here. So there's nothing really saying, oh, yeah, this is over on the downside. This could still come down to the downside back to about 14,000, really. 8 moving average for sure. Uh, Everything still looks and remains bullish everywhere. So you're expecting any kind of a pullback is a buying opportunity on a dip. So we managed to say, of course, well, we talked about the U.S. Canadian dollar looking to probably take another shot at going back up to the resistance area near 120, 112.25 is what I meant to say. Sorry, maybe as high as 112.50, and it's tried today, got into the Bollinger Band, stalled a little bit. Downside day, but barely. Another shooting star. Um, 8's just now crossing the 20, so this is still, to me, it's not a very strong sell signal. It's close to the resistance. It might be enough, but I'm not going to be looking to sell unless it drops below 107, essentially. Euro, you recall yesterday sank pretty hard, but back to support. I assumed there would be a lot of support here between retracement levels, moving averages, etc., etc. This is actually looking pretty strong. A nice bounce. Look at the lower shadow. Good. Still looking for an upside back to 137.50, 138. Watch for that. Otherwise, anything below 136.50 probably is probably heading further south. So treasuries after Tuesday's move, we figured okay, it's going higher, 134, eventually 135, and there it is, 135, right there in the vicinity, right there in reach. After that, nice cup formation. It's formed to go higher still beyond that, but I would imagine there's going to be a little bit of a pause. It'll be overbought. It'll be fighting essentially a very distant 50-day moving average. The 8 has crossed the 20, but the 200 is still declining as well. So it's a little bit of a mix in terms of long-term, and of course the intermediate's fine, but the 50 is kind of far away. So it may take a pause up there, at least temporarily, but it certainly looks like it wants to go higher from there. What does that mean for the markets? This went higher. Markets went higher on the same day. Kind of a rarity. I like the yen here. Finally broke out of its little trend. We had the clustered 8 and 20-day moving average. The 50 was just starting to flatten out and started to maybe slightly roll up. Now we have a little bit of a breakout. It hasn't made up for yesterday's. Is that yesterday's high? That's okay. Today's high was there. Right now, the after hours is actually trading higher than the close, but not making a new high yet. But I like it into the pivot high there and looking a lot like, if you will, the shape in the formation of the treasuries, except it's just lagging treasuries move already. Gold pretty quiet today, just a little spinning top right off the 8 moving average and the 1320 support. So I didn't think that bear sash was going to really amount to much, except maybe a drop into the 200 or something there. But so far it's holding, looking for a move still into 1360. Silver, a little bounce again with a little spinning top. It sank pretty hard yesterday, but into the 200, below the 8 moving average and lagging. See, the gold has already gone through its 1320 level, which is the equivalent of the $22 here on silver, but has not done so yet. So I'm looking for a bounce back toward 22 and eventually likely into 23 next. And then there's crude, just sideways and more sideways. So it hit 103 and it's been chopping around for a week. Sideways, sideways. It did tag the other day down to the 101 area and immediately reversed back up to 103. And then today, it dropped back to the 8 moving average. Did not make a new low, but did make a new high compared to the last 2 days. So it's trying to break out. I mean, the 20 is now catching up, crossing the 200. The 50 is still lagging, but still rising. So the momentum is building, and I still see this going to 105, 108, possibly 110 over a course of time. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so yesterday small caps were fairly busy for the most part, but they weren't able to close above the resistance area at 17, just above 117. You see that upper shadow yesterday following essentially a doji. So today they did. They gapped down in the open and then reversed, and then they didn't quite meet yesterday's high, but they closed near the session high, which is good. And I believe this is a good enough and moderate enough close above the resistance that would constitute a breakout. The 20 and 50 are both rising, although they're not stacked correctly, but still the trend is they're still there. They're rising. Everything's good. The long-term trend is up as well. So I see nothing but continuation here to the upside for small caps. So that's risk on. Risk on means markets are going higher until we see a sell signal. We're good to go on the upside. Let's take a look at the VIX to finalize this thing. And the VIX showing no signs of fear whatsoever. It gapped up on the open but ran into the resistance of the 50 and the 8 moving average as well as the old window and then faded some. It did not make a new low, so it's still hovering between the resistance and support area, a very tight area. We'll call it 15 above and 1350 below for now. That's just literally in that zone for now, and it's been there for the last almost 5 days now. So nothing going on there. As long as the markets are going up, you're probably expecting this to come back into 13 and possibly lower. We'll see how it goes.